The Game of Power. Lesson 2, Part 2, How to Master Friends, Enemies, and Everything in Between. In moments of crisis, it's only natural to look to those we call friends. They offer familiarity, warmth, and comfort. When the world grows hostile, we turn to them to soften the blows. It's instinctive. But in the game of power, instinct can be a fatal weakness. You may believe that you know your friends well. After all, you've laughed together, shared victories, endured hard times. But how much do you really know? Behind the smiles and encouragement, there can be hesitation, hidden resentment, even unspoken envy. Friends rarely challenge your ideas directly. They support you because it feels good to support you. But when your path begins to rise and theirs does not, the nature of that friendship shifts. The laughter feels forced. The encouragement sounds thin. What begins as loyalty can quietly transform into bitterness. This is one of the subtle traps of hiring or relying on friends. They're often not chosen for their skill, but for their emotional comfort. You think, here's someone I trust, someone who would never betray me. But trust built on sentiment is fragile. A friend may not feel they earned their position. They may feel they were chosen out of favoritism, not merit. And instead of being grateful, they carry the weight of that feeling like a burden. Your kindness, intended as a gift, becomes a chain that binds them to you, and resentment grows from that chain. And the more favours you give, the more they expect. But appreciation fades. Soon the gifts feel like obligations. Your friend's performance begins to slack. They grow too comfortable. And when correction is needed, your ability to criticise or redirect them is limited by the very bond that brought them in. Gratitude, once a virtue, now becomes an illusion. When you work with friends, the personal bleeds into the professional. The lines blur, emotions enter the workplace. And as that distance fades, so does your power. Because power requires objectivity. It demands evaluation, control, and clear expectations. The truth is that the people best suited to help you advance are rarely the ones you are emotionally close to. Skill, competence, and discipline, they matter more than loyalty, born of shared memories. If friendship is your only filter for selecting allies, your vision becomes cloudy. You'll miss signs of weakness, you'll ignore red flags, and in time, your success will feel fragile, because it's built on sentiment, not strength. But there is another option. One most people never consider. Enemies. Enemies are direct. They're honest in their contempt. They don't smile in your face while plotting behind your back. You know exactly where they stand. And when an enemy becomes an ally, the bond that forms is forged in something stronger than familiarity. It's forged in fire. When you extend trust to a former rival, you give them something they never expected. And in that surprise lies your advantage. They will often become your most committed allies, not out of love, but out of pride. They have something to prove. They want to justify the decision you made to bring them in. They don't assume your kindness, they earn it. That's why the alliances forged from former opposition are often stronger than those built from long-standing affection. In the political world, this truth plays out time and again. Napoleon's foreign minister, Talleyrand, knew he couldn't trust friends when it came time to plot against the emperor. Friends have expectations. Friends want credit. So he partnered with Joseph Fouché, his most dangerous rival, a man who had once tried to have him killed. The irony? That enemy proved more useful than any friend. They had no illusions about each other. Their relationship was clear, mutual interest, no sentiment. It worked. Their alliance, though cold, was productive. And even after their conspiracy failed, their collaboration outlived the war. Because when enemies work together, they do so with open eyes. Even in modern times, the pattern repeats. Henry Kissinger, targeted by radical activists during the Vietnam War, didn't rely on friends to ease tensions. He met with those who tried to abduct him. He talked, listened, negotiated, and one of those enemies became a lasting friend. It's not manipulation, it's evolution. When you learn to embrace tension, to face opposition not with fear but with curiosity, you open the door to greater strength. Enemies sharpen your edge. They keep you alert, focused, and aware. They don't coddle you, they test you, and those tests make you better. Even in war, this lesson holds. Mao Zedong, fighting for control over China, understood this in his bones. When the Japanese invaded, many of his comrades urged retreat. Let the nationalists fight them, they said. We'll wait. We'll recover. But Mao saw something more important than rest. He saw opportunity. A powerful enemy, he believed, was the best training. If his soldiers could fight and survive against the Japanese army, they would be ready to defeat the nationalists later. It wasn't about winning every battle, it was about sharpening the sword. He knew that conflict produces competence, struggle forces growth. Years later, when a Japanese visitor offered an apology for the invasion, Mao stopped him. He said, "Why should I be angry? Shouldn't I thank you instead? Without that conflict, we might never have grown strong enough to win." That's not bitterness, that's power thinking. It's a mindset that understands enemies aren't problems, they're possibilities. Opposition isn't a threat, it's a resource, if you use it well. But there's a key rule to remember. Don't pick fights you can't win. Mao knew Japan would fall eventually. He calculated the long game. So must you. Use enemies to clarify your message, to solidify your base, to push yourself further, but never let pride pull you into unwinnable battles. And when no enemies exist, create them. A clearly defined enemy makes your position stronger. It gives your side a purpose. It defines your values. Without contrast, the public forgets why you matter. A struggle, even an artificial one, keeps your narrative alive. In the end, it's better to have enemies in plain sight than hidden ones in friendly disguise. A declared rival can sharpen your skills, but a smiling friend, secretly bitter, can undo you before you see the blow coming. So make your choices wisely. Keep your friendships separate from your business. Keep your emotions out of strategy. And keep your eyes open for the opportunity within conflict. Enemies will teach you. Enemies will test you. And if you're wise enough to use them, enemies will make you great.